So this is St. Mary's Church. It is on 46th Street in Manhattan, and right around the corner we've got 42nd. And you know, the crush of people out there is unreal. I'm going to take you in here. Wait till you see what's in the side of this place. It's just incredible. But if you've been watching my videos, right, the vestibule, the entrance is the yoni, a vagina, right? And up there, what is that? That's the clitoris, right? So it's the vagina, the entrance to the womb, right? And I'm going to be able to show you in this church why the interior of the church is the womb. Now, I'm kind of in luck today because it's actually open and it's pouring rain out. I'm soaking wet, which I don't care. It's cool. So take a look at that ceiling. So this church is open quite often. If you just go down the street that way, there's so many people, and yet nobody comes in here to look at this, right? So I'm going to get really close, but so look at those. The ceiling is like the stars, right? And as I get closer, you're going to see that's the Holy of Holies, the woman's womb, right? Now, if you've been watching my other videos, and I break down all this iconography, Jesus is coming out of the womb, right? He's in the Holy Holy. So you go through the vestibule, which is the yoni, the vagina, into the womb. And where's Jesus? And if you look at the back here, it's the same shape, right? And that's purposeful. It's because that's what they're trying to tell you with the architecture, right? Of course, this is all occulted knowledge, right? It's not obvious. Of course, it's not obvious to most people at all. They have no idea that that's what this is all about, right? And of course, I'm just making absolute most noise you could possibly make. I'm gonna actually take my shoes off because it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't. So this is also like Gilded Age era church, right? And all of this was built by Italian Americans, right? Because the Italian American that came to this country, they were classically trained in Italy to do this kind of work. So they came from a place called Abruzia, which is right outside of Rome, and their fathers and their forefathers were the people going all the way back ancestrally that built the Colosseum. And when they came here to the United States during the 1800s and early 1900s, they came, you know, there was no work in Italy, so they came here for a better life. And when they get here, what's happening is the Gilded Age occurs, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for these people to showcase the kind of work that they were capable of doing, right? Look at this, all hand carved, right? So this kind of work, it's just such incredible craftsmanship, right? And they arrived here in the United States right at the perfect time to take advantage of the Gilded Age and the creation of a lot of these monuments, these city buildings, right? And what did they need? They need laborers and people who were skilled in this kind of artwork, right? So there was just a lot of these people around. And, you know, well, it did not make them rich. It certainly made them rich in their eyes because they had come from a very poor, mountainous background here to the United States. And what happens? They then can afford to buy a home, to feed their family, to buy an extra pair of clothes, right? Like, so that's what I talk about, like wealth, right? Wealth is not necessarily always being rich and having millions of dollars, but it's really about having wealth within your family of health, right? And happiness and love and good times, right? So while these people didn't necessarily become rich, they were able to provide for their family, send their kids to school, to college, to become educated, right? Something that they never had a chance to do. Although I would say this is, of course, an education in of itself. I'm not saying that, but you know, I'm saying from their point of view, they didn't want their children to grow up the way they had, right? So what do you have here? We have Mary, the moon goddess, right? If you watch my videos, she's always wearing blue, usually with little stars all over it. And why? Because she's the goddess of the moon. She is Isis, right? And that's why she's always draped in a blue cloth. She's also known as the patron saint of sailors, because the heavens are like water, plasma, right? Space isn't empty. There's actual fluid in space, right? If you believe the occultist, which I believe them over some modern science nonsense, right? I'm going to go back here and show you this, which is just really beautiful. But look at these decanters, right? And it's such a shame that all the tourists that are just over here, you can't even walk down the street, they are completely unaware that this incredible structure is here, right? Now, I've been in, sometimes throughout the year they have symphonies here. Right behind me, they'll set up the orchestra, and the kind of vibration you get from this place while there's a symphony in here is just incredible, right? The resonance is just mind-boggling, which is why the ceiling and everything is designed like this, right? Because they didn't have speakers back in these days, right? But look at this organ, right? So that, on the outside, that's the vestibule, right, where you come in. And if you watched in the beginning, I showed you that this whole thing is the yoni, a vagina, and that is the clitoris, right? And then you look at this, as you get up closer to it, right, you have the very center dot, and then you have that explosion, right, that comes from that, and with that release of energy that you get, right? Like, that's what that is saying in occultic terms, right? And then what does that do? The womb creates a baby. So you women are portals. You're portals to heaven for the man who enters you, but you're the portal to earth for the child, right, that comes through your womb. And these places are just incredible to come visit, because you can come here for free and enjoy all of this artwork, right? There's no charge, and you can spend time in this place that has been for 100 years, where people have been coming and praying and imparting their vibration into this structure, right? Which is why when you come into a place like this, you feel at peace, because the good intentions of thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of people that have been here over time impart that like good, loving vibration, right? So if you are depressed, if you're not happy with life, just even if you're not a Catholic or a Muslim or into Judaism, right? You're not Hebrew, just go to one of those places and hang out and sit there and just meditate on your problems. And when you leave, you're probably going to feel a little bit better about your life situation.